In the Field updates on Market Journal are supported by the Nebraska Corn Board. But we begin by heading out and into the field. For this week's update, at the beginning of the week, I had the chance to travel out to Western Nebraska to catch up with a longtime friend of mine to see how things are going out in the fields near Bayard, Nebraska. Here's that discussion. Well, just south of Bayard, Nebraska, you'll find a small town called Redington. That's where we're at this week for our In the Field update, catching up with David Schuler at Schuler Angus. Also has row crops and alfalfa. So get an update here when it comes to the crops from David. Let's talk about the whole operation, though. I mentioned there's livestock. That's a big aspect of what you guys do.
Yeah, so we're pretty diversified with seed stock. Red Angus is our main flagship operation with my family. But we feed our own feedstuffs and sell some corn as well and grow our own dry matter as well, like millet and alfalfa and oats and stuff like that. So
we've got the cornfield behind us. When was planting for you guys?
Yeah, so we started planting May 4th and ended around May 14th, trying to get it all on the ground. Got some good rains with it, so before it got real wet.
Talk about the moisture. You're turning pivots on here this week, it sounds like.
Yeah, it sure got hot this week, and the sandy grounds doesn't hold that moisture that we were blessed with earlier, so we really got to get our pivots going, get the chemicagation going on all of them. But this will be the first time they've been going around, which is unique for my lifetime that they've been able to make it this far as well.
Also have your hay crop. Have you got your first cut of your alfalfa done?
Yep, we just finished that up yesterday. We ensiled it, put in some haylage with triticale and alfalfa together so we can get that off so the next crop can get going, just in case it would get rained on, so we can get hopefully 3 more off of that circle.
You have cattle as your main focus. I'm sure you're always thinking about cattle and grazing and different opportunities with them. And to that point, you're doing something unique where in your corn, you're planting some turnips. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so kind of old-fashioned this aspect of in-row ripping, trying to break up the compaction that our cows put on through the winter months. And with that opportunity, as we go over it, we like to try to get, with a Gandy box, turnips within the rows and get their roots established before the canopy of the corn, and then it'll kind of go dormant and it'll just look like it's almost on the verge of dying all through the wet months of July and August. But then when we harvest it, whether we chop it or we combine it, it'll then come to life, and as well as the stalks of the cows are eating in the fall, they'll also have that turnips as well. Just trying to get some cover crops and get as most use as possible off our farmland in the winter months.
Okay. When it comes to your grazing pastures, you were showing me a green strip through one of your fields, your pastures that is. What was going on there?
Yeah, so we're on this new rise of Brajubra, this spray they put on through a plane to allow the cheatgrass that is just terrible in Western Nebraska. It's invasive from Eurasia. That we can't get any use of that from the cattle perspective. So it sprays on pastures through airplanes and allows it to go dormant for 5 years and allow the native grasses to reestablish themselves and hopefully choke out that cheatgrass after 5 or 6 years. And it's seen tremendous results here in Western Nebraska, and I hope we continue to work on the funding for it, whether that's helped through cost share projects and through the USDA or the agricultural services, because it'll change our native lands to back where they used to be. And it's just so much greener where we sprayed and it's been 3 or 4 years now on some of those test plots, and now we're trying to get sections done at a time, just hopefully cut back on this invasive species.
Finally, you get your cattle turned out to pasture, or is that still upcoming?
Yes. Again, yesterday, while we were ensiling all of our alfalfa, we got our last 200 cows bred and out to pasture, so we can finally see the green grass and red cows like Christmas in June and July, that I like to say, allow our genetics to hit the ground, hopefully here in February and March, and continue to service the commercial cattle industry.
Well, it's a good sight out here in Western Nebraska when everything is green. That's the case right now as we're catching up with David Schuler by Redington, Nebraska.